you kind of covered it. I was going to ask a question there about is mental health in young boys and men becoming more of an issue to deal with based on modern life pressures, or are we thankfully just more aware and now more willing to have these conversations to encourage others?
I think I like when you mentioned earlier the journey, and I think this mental health awareness, it's a journey, and we're just at the beginning. Obviously, if me falling into depression, like it was, for example, now with children be a bit older, I would have really struggled. But now, having started my mental fitness journey, and I'm a lot more aware. It's like now I know myself, like, and that I've acquired that through therapy. Because at first you go at the roots, try to find the roots of the problem, and allow you to learn a lot about yourself. And now I feel like I've got my toolbox with loads of coping strategies. And one of these coping strategies is expressing your feelings and emotions. So obviously now, because it's a trendy subject, mental health, mental fitness, anxiety, depression, it's all trendy words. So now it's become easier to talk about it. There's so many now. If you want to get help, there's so many resources that you can find online or even on social media. There's some great mental health Instagram pages, for example, which loads of really good content. Because most of the time, even myself, when I read those content, it makes you reflect about yourself.
Absolutely right.
And if you start this reflection, you start in this process of wanting to get better. Sometimes you can say, I don't know, it could be a statement from someone who experienced depression as well. But you can express depression from different forms. So sometimes having a statement for someone who's been there, wow, you listen, that you take in, you digest, and you reflect into it, and you try to cure on you, see if there's anything you can improve, and just is. Now it's getting more easier. Back when I was in this dark room, there were not as much support. It wasn't a subject. It was talked about, so it was a bit harder. But now things are really moving, and also you see loads of high-profile people within sport or any other industry who speak up. And when you know the power of us in our little scale, but the influence you can have on Rugby League fans, for example, who look up to you. So imagine those people with a higher profile. So for them to be able to share, it's amazing to have a massive impact. And for me, this example is now I think it was a few weeks ago when Adele was sharing a video on the social media. She was literally in tears and she was so open, and I thought that was so strong from her.
Yes, I saw that.
To look yourself in the camera and just express like that. And I'm sure she has impacted a lot of people. She did impacted me as well. So I'm pretty sure she impacted lots of people by doing that. So I think now it's becoming easier. It's just the beginning. Now the biggest is to plant the good seed within this younger generation, your son, my kids, to plant the seeds, because we want them to grow and be happy and strong in their mind, adults.
Absolutely. I think it's something that I've learned myself, is that to teach compassion and empathy is not, it's not to make someone soft. It's actually to give someone the tools to manage adverse situations and to build resilience. When you recognize your emotions and when you recognize the things that are making you feel a certain way, you can adapt and learn how to deal with it. Whereas if you're living in fear or living in shame of the thing, then that's just going to squash those feelings, and it's just going to always be there. You're never going to be able to deal with that.
Oh no, I definitely agree. When you mentioned this, it's about managing your emotions, analyzing, being able to analyze when this is a negative thought that coming in, and okay, what do I do with this? I challenge it, or do I let this negative for taking over me and affect the way I will feel, behave, or think, and which after can be so detrimental to my relationship with people at work or at rugby or with family members. Or either I decide to challenge it and look in my toolbox I build with a coping strategy and try to challenge that and get better. So after, when similar feelings or emotion or thought coming in, you're like, okay, I've had that before. How did I successfully manage that before? So you try to do the same for this one, and you keep building and building up.
I like that. I really like that. I was going to ask you just briefly, you mentioned a toolkit of ways to manage your difficult times. See, personally, I'm quite big into mindfulness, meditation, getting out in nature. I've recently started getting into Wim Hof. You know, the guy is this Dutch guy who broke loads of world records for like climbing mountains in just shorts, and he has this breathing technique. Which is based on like a Buddhist breathwork technique, and then he also advocates cold water therapy, so cold showers, cold baths, like cold water swimming and that kind of stuff. I've personally found that all of those things really helpful to me in terms of grounding me, so that when I am in an anxiety state of mind, my thoughts don't tumble away. Like I can actually get some kind of clarity and get some kind of grounding and presence in the moment, the present moment. And I think that's been really helpful. What are the kind of things that you use as a toolkit?
Obviously, the first one is, and something I wasn't doing before, and that's the big one that we can all do, is sharing, talking about your problems. So for me, my partner is the one I lash out, and because most of the time when you don't talk, is like in one of our session about stress and coping, is we have the stress buckets. So into a bucket is only a certain amount of water you can put in, and within yourself is the same. Is that your bucket is only a certain amount that you can take in, and at some point, if you don't have this little tab to offload a little bit, then you overflow and you get in critical situations. So for me, a coping strategy would be to speak about my problems, and because by speaking about the problems, you firstly you got someone that listen to you and don't judge you, and just so listen to you, but also can give you another alternative to this problem that you may have, or this negative thought that you may have. Because of most of the time when we are stuck, we only see our own thought and our own way of thinking. So by sharing that, then you allow someone else to give you a different alternative of your problem and try to guide you to see clearer. So that for me is a big one. Then after is finding what is your coping strategy. So obviously me, I did try yoga, mindful meditation. Maybe I need to try longer, but I really struggle to let it go. But what I like is I like to listen to podcasts about how the people talk about mental health, self-development. And there's a big thing from all these podcasts I've been listening to or books I read is developing your strength, being aware of your strength, and repeating your strength over and over, because it's by repeating your strength, it's by being aware of your strength, understanding your strength, and telling yourself all of your strength and performing those strengths that you build resilience. Because it's after you get any setback or challenges or bad time or failure, if you're aware of your strength, then you can, and you know, and you repeat to yourself, then you are confident that you're going to overcome this other challenge. But if you know aware of your strength and you just see yourself, like I used to see myself just as a weak person, because, and that comes with how you've been brought up and how those important factors in your life have been with you, then that will affect you. And I remember in one podcast, I don't remember the name of this woman who said that, but she said it's about building your bank of memory. Like you will build, and that really resonated with myself when she mentioned that. It's like when you build your saving bank account,
Wow.
And this one is, she said, you have to build your bank of memory. So every time you overcome a challenge, or you make a milestone, or you successfully or positively have a positive outcome, don't shift your way. Take it, look at it, and put in your bank of memory.
Wonderful.
So next time you'll have a challenge or setback or failure, you can, like if you run a bit out of money, where most of us we did during COVID, you go in your bank saving, then you do the same. You go in your bank of memory, and you pick up a positive outcome.
Wonderful.
And that gives you strength. I've done it before. I'm gonna do it again. And this is something I can tell I implement a lot. To give you an example, is with my uni, because I'm studying a master degree at the minute, and I'm the kind of person who I put a lot of pressure, I stress myself all the time, and I always question, I can't do it, I won't have time. And at the minute, I'm arriving to the last 2 months of my master, and I feel like every time I won't have enough time, I won't finish in time. And when I feel like that, I'm like, okay, stop, Kevin, a minute, and reflect. Last year, when it was your undergraduate, you felt exactly the same, and you put so much pressure. And what was the result? You graduated with a first-class degree. So you've done it before. This is fine. Because what? Because you good time management, you got a good work ethic, you know what he's doing, you plan. So there's no reason why you will fail. So it's almost having those little chat with yourself constantly. So do you know what I mean by understanding your strength and have this self-affirmation that I'm trying to do all the time? And as an outcome, I know, do you know what? No, I've done it before and I'm going to do it. So I'm like, okay, boom, I can do it. And every time I can analyze those negative thoughts, I'm trying to challenge it. But that you have to keep practicing. And sometimes I fail to do it. And it's okay, because you can, when your human side coming back, and you can reflect, and you're nice and relaxed, you're like, okay, so what did I do to fail on that situation? So you take it as a lesson, and you try to, next time it happens, to address it. It's just like a constant, you have to like question yourself and reflect and keep practicing.
Wow. That's really helpful. I'm really glad you said that. I'm going to use them. I'm definitely going to use the memory bank one. I'd gone through quite a tough few years. Basically, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 2018. I ended up being one of his main carers. The whole process was really traumatic for me. I had to manage his decline, his mental decline, and then his physical decline. And it just unearthed an awful lot of trauma in me that I thought I'd dealt with, but it unearthed so much stuff from my past. I also lost one of my closest friends. He had a brain tumor, and this was during lockdown. So during the lockdowns, I couldn't get to see anyone, and quite a lot of heavy stuff happened. And I thought I was doing all right. I thought I was coping with it. I thought that I had my toolkit down, shall we say. I was exercising, I was journaling, I like to write, so I was writing a lot, and I was doing meditations, and I thought I was moving forward. But I think what you mentioned earlier is when you have core beliefs in you from your childhood, that it's like a belief system that you are weak, or you are not worthy. Sometimes that will always pull you back, and it takes a lot to keep pushing through that. And like you just said, it's remembering those positive experiences and positive steps that you have can just be that just little extra lift that you need to get you through the next tough time that you go through. But to give yourself permission to feel that again is a massive thing.
And I think a big word you said is reflecting. I think that was something I wasn't doing enough before, and I wasn't doing at all. But in sometimes it's like pressing pause and reflecting of what just happened. Because that's when you can really analyze in details. And even if it's failure, like for so long I was, and obviously probably part of being an athlete, when failure, you don't want to fail, you just want to succeed. But failure, like is part of it. Like, for example, when you go into the competition, we are 13 other team that want to win the title.
Yeah.
And not all of them will win. But what does that mean? That a part of the champion, the 13 other are rubbish? No. But every time you lose a game, you reflect about what have been happening during this game. What did we lose? What happened? What have been the key moment?
Yeah.
And from that, you design the plan to implement and to address it the week after.
Of course.
It's the same you have to do with yourself. No, and even when we win,
Yeah.
like yesterday we won, tomorrow we're going to review the game, see what we've done well, to keep reinforcing what we've done well, but also looking at what we've done not so well during the game and try to minimize that for the next game.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same you have to do with yourself, taking time to reflect about what just happened. And after, for me, that led to the first coping strategy that I practice when I did therapy is gratitude. And I think that's a big one. And this one takes a lot of discipline to do. But I remember at the time, the first 6 weeks of my therapy journey, every time I would go to my therapist, I would sit down and talk about how bad my life was, how everything was against me, how there were nothing good going on, blah, 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 and so on. And after maybe the 6th week, he stopped me and he said, listen, I want you to practice something for the next 21 days. I want you every day to write 3 things that you're grateful for every day and 1 thing you could have done better. I was like, wow. I remember the first time when going home, I was trying to tap down to my phone. I was stuck. I was like, wow, what am I grateful for? And what this allows you to do is to dig down and to look at each detail of yourself and your surroundings.
Yeah.
So for me, the things I wrote down, it was like at the time, even despite experiencing depression, I had a newborn and healthy baby that I could rely on. I was still fit and healthy and I could still train until I get a new contract. And I still had the roof above my head.
Yeah.
But every day I had to write something different. So after it just allow you to look into details. So for example, I don't know, it will be me, for example, my partner cook my lunch and put it in a box and she write my name with a little heart, and you're grateful for that because I'm like, wow, she's thought about me, trying to make my life easier.
Yeah.
And it did. I'm happy now lunchtime, I don't have to bother, oh, what do I need to know? It's there, it's ready, I've got my lunch back, and I'm really grateful for that. And another thing I'm really grateful for is she treats my son like for her son. And when I see all the recompose family, how is the stepmom sometimes doesn't go on with the children, the children, sorry, and vice versa. Yeah. I'm grateful for that. And really practicing gratitude allow you to see that no matter how stuck you are, how bad is your situation, or how bad is your mental state, there's always some good things you can. There's always some positive that go in your life, and that's when you find this positive or practicing gratitude. Hold on tight into that, yeah, and use that, and gradually you put your head above the water and, yeah, and keep breathing.
I agree with that. I remember reading that, but I think it's called the Gratitude Journal, and I read it, and it was about exactly what you just said. You write down the things you're grateful for every day, and it starts to shift your perspective on, yeah, like, daily experiences. Like suddenly the day, things aren't a chore. Like even something like doing housework or washing up or something you probably wouldn't enjoy, you go, well, actually, aren't I lucky to have a house of my own? Aren't I lucky that I have fresh water that I can just turn a tap on? Yeah, like, yeah, all these little things that you take for granted suddenly become really, really valued. And I think there's so much in that.
Yeah, and I think also when he told me and found one thing you could have done better as well, it just me was an opportunity to assess how I was with other people. Yeah. So for example, it could be something simple like, I don't know, I overreact and I take everything literally. And I don't know, that day, like, I couldn't find something and I lash out on parents and kids. And I feel like an idiot after in the car when I could have done. I feel like a right idiot. And then I reflected, I was like, I could have handled that differently. And after linked to what we've been talking earlier.
Yeah.
analyze your emotion on your phone. And okay, this I'm getting stressed. Why am I getting stressed? I can't find something. Is it the end of the world? No. So challenge that. Like, it's fine. It's going to be right.
That's it. I think I'm very similar in that way. Like, I always lose my wallet. I can never find my wallet. I do lose it, and I start getting nuts about it. And then afterwards, you're like, you know that it's not just about losing your wallet. You know that somewhere in your head there's some kind of self-judgment, like, aren't I stupid? Aren't I rubbish? Why did I lose my wallet again? And it's like, afterwards, you just go, oh Jesus, just take a breath. Just take a breath, man. It's okay. Yeah.
And just that, by doing that, obviously everything we've been talking, it just go in cycle.
Yeah.
Just a cycle. And if you can do all those things, then automatically, okay, is it really worth it? So you reflect automatically.
Yeah.
And okay, no, that's not worth it. So you challenge your chimp, or is your chimp is telling you, it's really mental, and it's telling you that that's rubbish, you're rubbish, and lash out. You know, take time, give you a banana, like in the book. Paradox, I like that. He said, give him a banana. And I understand, and I like when I successfully manage my emotion, I always tap myself on the shoulder and say, well done, Kevin. I managed to monitor my chimp for like you say in the book, you have to congratulate yourself as well when you manage that.
Yeah.
And then all of this, honestly, is a cycle. Like, God, keep going on and on. Absolutely. So just those company strategies, like, find the one that works for you.
Yeah.
When you find this one, just stick to it, and you have to keep practicing, be really disciplined. And honestly, it's great when you can manage it. And also, sometimes you have some bad day. Sometimes you step out your little routine or discipline you install with yourself. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's one of those days. It's fine. Tomorrow you'll get back into it.
It's also reframing that. Someone once said, you don't have a bad day, you have a character building day. So you have a chance to challenge yourself, and you have a chance to kind of like deal with something that isn't.
Yeah.
Because life isn't always positive. There's always going to be stuff that you're going to have to manage, and stuff you're going to have to deal with, and difficult times. You're going to go. It's a fact of life. You're going to go through difficult times. So the better you are at sharing that with others and talking about that with others, and congratulating yourself when you've gone through it and managed it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because like it's natural for us, like when it's something positive, we discard it, we move on straight away. But when it's something negative, we overthink about it. And that's what this woman was saying about the Bank of Norway, try to shift that.
Yeah.
Like when something positive outcome happen, don't just discard it. Take time, enjoy it, take it in, and put in your bank of memory for next time you experience a challenge.
Definitely. Yeah.
It could be a person, but sometimes it's something that can inspire you. Me, I know at the time when I experienced depression, and you don't even know, and I think still this day you don't even know, but me, my inspiration and the person who allowed me to keep going, it was my son.
Wow.
And that was a good reason enough, because I wanted to break this cycle of parenting I had. And I was like, okay, my dad as well had mental health problem, but I don't want to replicate the same mistake as he did. And to do it for my son, that's a good reason enough. And that, honestly, that gave me loads of strength, because don't get me wrong, when I was during that time, I experienced some tough time when I remember sometime I had some vision, and there were this Humber Bridge, and I remember sometimes to park there and on the car park and look at this bridge and be like, do you know what, that seems like a good option. Go over there and everything will be done. I never had even the courage to go on this bridge, but just I was on car park. And I remember every time I used to go pick up my son from nursery, it was only newborn baby, and I was like, and I would feel so annoyed with myself, and how did I dare thinking like that? He is the reason. Yeah. He is the reason why I need to keep fighting, why I need to work on myself and become a better version of myself.
Yeah.
And so you need to find what is your inspiration, what is your why. I think that's a big thing for me, is finding what is your why.
Yeah.
Why you're waking up in the morning, what makes you get up in the morning. Because for me, the mistake I've done is, and like loads of rugby players do, or athletes in general do, is for so many time I thought my why was rugby. It was just rugby, because I was identified as just being a rugby player. But no, and so that would have been taken away. I was just lost. I didn't know what to do with myself. So now it has been a journey to try to discover who is Kevin, what am I about, and what is my why. And my son was my big why at the time, which allowed me to get through. And after your why, you can have different whys. Me, I know now, obviously my sister is a big why, but also now it is my kids, my partner. I want to make them proud. I want to be a good person around them. I want to inspire them. I want to be there for them. So that's a big why for me. So that would say that's something I would encourage, is try to find your why. What is your why? Why you keep going? And honestly, it's amazing how when you find it, it can give you so much strength.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really incredible. That's really powerful what you just said then. That's a lot. I think that's a lot that we can all take home and think about there. I don't want to take up any more of your evening, Kevin. You've been so gracious and so kind, and I've really enjoyed this chat. I really have. It's been a real education, and it's a real pleasure to
Me too. I really enjoy as well.
to sit and chat. So I'll do a quick wrap up. Thank you for being on the Being Dad podcast, Kevin Larroyer. There you go. I did it again.
Good.
It's been wonderful. We've talked about a lot of different topics and a lot of different themes and that, and I really hope that it's resonated with anyone who's listening and anyone who's watching. We'll put some notes in the end of this about Rugby League Cares and about the work that Kevin's doing, and any links to any help and resources that are out there for anyone who needs it. Is there anything you want to add to that, Kevin?
I think definitely, like, what this charity is good about is it doesn't matter if you're a boy, a woman, or a young person, you can find the support you need. So I would definitely encourage to have a look at the website, or even on the daily social media posts. They really try to showcase to how they can help. And if you're struggling and you might have one of those offer program that might be around your area, and if that's the case, honestly, I couldn't recommend it enough. Like, honestly, even myself, when I deliver it, and there's some guys that at the age of being my dad, and sometimes when you see even those guys being able to open up with you, and some crying. Wow. And even the friendship they built between themselves during the program, it's amazing. So I would definitely look up for Rugby League Cares. There's loads of things going around.
Thank you so much, Kevin. That's been wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay, see ya. Take care.